We have an amazing gift for you that is going to be unveiled directly after lunch. Keith Abraham gifted our amazing leadership team yesterday a workshop where we got to go through Goal Driver. It's an assessment tool. So over the lunch break, you get to be able to do this. It'll take you a short period of time. Basically, you're going to put your name and email address in. You don't need a coupon code. So you'll go to mygoaldriver.com or do the whole scan thing that we've all got very used to over the last few years, alrighty? And you'll be able to go there. Select the business role area, okay? There are different areas, and you can go back and do the other areas. But for today, to really get to speak into what this is all about, you will visit the website or download, alrighty? You'll put in your name and your email. You'll select the business role, alrighty? And then as you're answering it, think about your number one Juice Plus goal. It'll only take about 5 to 7 minutes out of your lunch break to be able to do that. But by doing it, you're actually going to have emailed through to you the results. And those results then, you are going to be able to work through with Keith this afternoon, alrighty? So is this exciting? How cool is this? Hey, this is just one of the first gifts that we have to be able to give you. And there's a handout that you can also do another little thing. Go to the Juice Plus Conference app. Who's already on the Juice Plus Conference app? Yes, that's great, excellent. Okay, so you'll actually be able to go there.
All right, let's do this. Who's had a good morning so far? At least 5 of you have. Who's had a good morning so far? Let's let Parliament House hear us this time. Who's had a good time so far? Hey, that's better. That's more like the Juice Plus gang. I want to take a moment as we settle back in the room. I know there's been so many incredible takeaways. I sent a message to this incredible human being, someone that inspired me lots of times. We've had so much fun in the last 5-6 years, and that's Brian Marsh. Did he kick off this morning with a bang? How amazing was Brian? I really love what Brian had to share. And I also want to reflect on a couple other things. One was just what Linda presented on today, I believe is probably the hardest thing to present on in our business. Really having people understand the thing that sets our business apart from every other business. It's unlocking that residual component. I don't know about you guys, but that's why I'm here. I'm here to make money while I sleep without having to think about staff and overheads and scale and all the things that come with the traditional business. That was certainly my story. I hope that you guys, whatever you got today is what you're meant to get. I think, don't overthink it. Don't let it knock you out. But I really believe that what Linda shared is the thing that if you can really embrace it, commit to it, really commit to it. Say, you know what, if you're not qualified right now, if you're not a senior partner right now, my thing would be to inspire every single one of you guys, make that decision next. Make the decision in the next 60 days that you're going to be a senior partner. If you're already a senior partner and you're not qualified, make the decision that I'm going to work out. I don't know what it means right now, but I'm going to get laser focused and work out how do I get really in the game? How do I get in the part of the game here that sets us apart from any other business? To build money while we sleep. That's the magic of what we do. And then I just love the panels. How incredible were the girls on the panel? Let's hear it for all our QSSC girls. I know one of the girls shared about just 5-1. How simple is 5-1? But the impact that makes, the compounding effect of 5-1 is incredible. I want to just have you guys, I think one of the things that we can come away from one of these events and have so much information and forget to do what with anything, almost feel paralyzed. Like, what do I do next? So what I want you to do, in 30 seconds, turn to someone next to you and share one thing that you're going to implement coming out of this weekend. Maybe highlight it, write in your notebook. Let's spend 30 seconds, 15 seconds each. Doesn't have to be a story. Share it really quickly. Go for it. All right, you should definitely have swapped by now. One thing. And that should do us. One thing. Some of you guys want to do more than one thing. I can be that person too. Just implement the one thing. One thing that I need to implement off the back of the first session. What's going to be the one thing? I want to encourage you guys. How many guys have completed the goal driver snapshot? How many guys have actually gone and completed it? Amazing. Let's hear it for all the goal driver snapshot completers. Let's hear it for them. Well done. If there was one thing that you've achieved this weekend, that's it. And probably getting home after midnight. That might be the other one. Let's see how tonight and tomorrow night plans out. But I really want to encourage you, if you haven't filled out the goal driver profile, please do. Our next speaker is, I'm super excited. He's someone that is dearly close to my heart. I actually knew Keith a long time before Juice Plus. Juice Plus, I'll be honest with you, it's funny how life comes around in full circles. Keith, in my early 20s, in my early business life, Keith was one of my greatest mentors. He taught me a lot about goal setting. Finding your why. I think many of you guys, when you get on my trainings, one of the first things I always talk about is find your why, make it your goals, commit, do that thing. I learnt this from our next speaker. So it's kind of uncanny that he's here. I'm like, Keith's back. This is exciting. So I'm going to introduce my good mate and incredible speaker. Our speaker today is a multi-award winning speaker, a best-selling author of 5 books published in 12 languages. In his 23 years speaking career, he has presented to more than 1.6 million people across 30 countries. Pretty incredible. What's more telling is that 93% of his clients have used him more than once. It's not the first time Keith has been here before. 57% have asked him back more than 6 times, and 34% of his clients have used him every year for more than 10 years. I think the thing I love about Keith is what he brings is you can implement it, it's workable, do that. I'd encourage you guys to commit to that today. For more than 20 years, Keith Abraham has become the global authority on goal achievement and the creator of Goal Driver Formula. He has researched how people can achieve what seems like the unimaginable, unreachable, and attainable in their life. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome the guru of goal setting, Keith Abraham. Get up on your feet. Let's give him a big hand.
Thanks, mate. Beautiful introduction. Well done. Well done, mate. Thank you. Thanks, Adam. Wow. Yeah, grab your seats. Whew. Do you realise that you're in the right room with the right people who've got the right heart for you, to help you be the best version of yourself, to help you achieve your goals, aspirations? And that's the marvellous family called Juice Plus. I want to spend some time with you today and talk about what's important, what matters, and what makes a difference to you. If you're like most people, rarely do we ever think about it. We get up, we go to work, we handle the challenges, look after the chaos, go home, have an alcohol injection, and we do it all over again the next day. And rarely do we ever stop and ask those questions. So for the next hour, I want to spend some time with you and get you very, very clear on what's important, what matters, and what makes a difference to you. Give me a hands up out there if you have completed your Goal Driver profile. I love you so much. I think it's wonderful that you've taken the time to do that, because I want to work through that with you as part of the process. You know, Adam said I've been doing this for now 26 years, traveling the globe, talking to people. Not so much traveling in the last couple of years, but I've traveled. It's interesting. In 24 years, I'd spoken in 33 countries. In 18 months, through my virtual studio, I was able to speak in 39 countries without leaving home. And so it's wonderful to be back in front of an audience again, taking the time to work with you as part of the process. If you've also downloaded the workbook, that's great. If you've got a pen and paper, that is superb, so you can take some notes, because if it's okay, I'm going to make this a working session rather than just giving you a whole stack of inspiration, which I'm happy to do. Hopefully today, I'll rephrase that. Hope is not a strategy. So today I want to give you some ideas, some insights, and a little bit of inspiration to go away and implement those particular strategies. So here's what I know after 26 years of speaking to 1.6 million people. People basically fit into 4 categories. 3% of people go and make things happen. 10% of people think or expect things to happen. 60% of people just watch things happen. Wow, look at those people achieving. Fancy that. And 27% of people don't know what happened. Give me a hands up if you know people that got no idea. Yeah, don't point to them. I want to spend some time and make sure you're in that top 3%. But you know, let me be transparent with you. I've been in that 27%. Can anybody relate to that? Not knowing where you're going, not knowing what you want to do, who you want to become, what you want to achieve. And you go through a day by day and week by week, and all of a sudden the week becomes a month, the month becomes a quarter, the quarter becomes a year. Is that Melbourne Cup already? And I want to make sure that you, from this session, that you're in the top 3%. As I said before, you're in the right room with the right leaders. I had a chance yesterday to spend 3 hours with your leaders talking about how they take their leadership to the next level and how they use the goal driver to help you become the best version of you, not the second best version of somebody else. So as we go through, I want to make sure that you're in the top 27%. Here's what I also know as part of this process, and if you're following along in your workbook, it's page 3. I've been curious. So here's what happened to me 37 years ago. 37 years ago, I got invited to go to a leadership program. Now, I've got to tell you, I wasn't a leader. The organisation that I worked in at the time, my mum got me the job, to be perfectly honest. She knew everybody and she got me the job, and I started in this organisation, and I've got to tell you, not very good. Not very good. My boss came to me one day and said, look, we'd like you to go on a week-long leadership program. And I thought, he's got rocks in his head. I'm not a leader. Then he said the magic words, you get a week off work with full pay. And I thought, you know what, maybe I am a leader. Maybe I'm a leader and I don't know it. On the last day of this week-long program, a guy stood up and started talking about this concept called goal setting. I'd never heard of it before. Kicked a few goals in footy and played polo cross and scored a few goals that way, but I'd never heard of this concept called goal setting. That day I fell in love with goal setting. 26 years ago, I turned that passion into a profession, but it also triggered something else in me. It triggered this sense of curiosity. And the sense of curiosity is, how do we get people to go from point A to point B faster, easier, sooner? How do we get them to go from where they are today to where they really want to be? How do we get them there faster, easier, sooner? But by the way, if you don't get there faster, easier, and sooner, you know how you get there? Slower, harder, never. And so this is about how you move from point A faster. How do you remove the roadblocks? How do you make it easier? How do you get out of your own way? And then how do you arrive at a place because you've had enough strength and determination to hang in there, hang in there, hang in there? And all of your leaders have done this. All of your leaders have walked across this stage because they've had a strength and determination to become the best version of themselves. And so now, how do we achieve this goal? How do we get there faster, easier, and sooner? Well, one of the things I want to share with you as part of this process is that I want to ask you this question. What's the most important goal you want to achieve in your Juice Plus business in the next 12 months? If you could think of one goal you want to achieve, maybe it's walking across here, maybe it's being recognised on stage as a sales coordinator or Club One. Maybe it's going that next level, NDM, to have that. Maybe it's, you know what, Keith, I want my Juice Plus business to give me an extra $1,000 a month, because that'll cover the school fees, that'll cover a nice holiday, that'll help me buy a new car. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab your pen and grab your piece of paper, or if you're using your phone or whatever it might be, and I want you to write down, what's that number one goal you'd love to achieve? What's that number one goal? For this whole weekend, what's that number one goal that, you know what, in 12 months' time, Keith, if I could achieve this, I will have had an absolutely, unbelievably, an amazing year. What would that goal be? What would that one goal be for you? Now, let me help you with this a little bit, because, you know, one of the things you might want to sort of think a little bit about is could it be the one goal in your business? Could it be something like this? Could it be an outcome? Keith, I'd like to accomplish this in my life. Keith, I'd like to achieve this objective, to have this many customers, to have this many team members. Keith, I'd like to own something. You know, Keith, I'd like to own my own place. And I see this as a way of helping me generate that extra income. Maybe it's a new car, as one of the previous speakers spoke about. Maybe is there something you want to occur in your life? Is there something that is an occasion that you want to celebrate? Maybe in 12 months' time at the next conference, you're walking across stage here and being recognised. Maybe it's something you want to overcome. You know, Keith, I've been a bit quiet and a bit shy, and I've been down a few dry gullies. And I want to change my story. I want to do something a little different. I want to step into my potential. Everyone got something written down? Here's what I'd love you to do. I'd love you to turn to the person you're sitting alongside. If you don't like that person, turn to the other person. If you brought them, it could be an awkward conversation on the way home, but hey, listen. And here's what I'd love you to do. I'd love you to share with the person you're sitting alongside, not the goal, but this question. What would happen in your life? What would happen in your life if you could achieve that goal faster, easier, sooner? You don't have to share the goal, just in case you don't know. But I want you to share with them what would happen in your life. Would your confidence raise up? Would your bank account raise up? Would you have this sense of purpose? Would you have more confidence? Would you feel like, you know what, Keith, I've finally found my community? How would you feel? What's the emotion? What's the set of circumstances, the serendipities that would happen when you achieve that goal? Now, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd love you to turn to the person you're sitting alongside, and I'd like you to share with them what would happen in your life because you achieved that goal. Will you share that with them now? And Chris, can I have some music, please, buddy? You got 15 seconds each, not long. "15 seconds gone." What a good little bubba. I know. So good, huh? How good's that? Ooh, what would happen? I learned all my presentation skills from Peter Glennie. He's been a great mentor of mine. I want to reach out and say, I'm not sure if he's in the room today, but I just want to reach out and say thank you, Peter. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody. Oof. Plenty of good energy in the room, huh? So let me ask the question, and it's not the day for me to jump off the stage today, but here's what I'd like to ask you the question. Give me a hands up if what would happen in your life is that there would be this beautiful wave, this dominoes effect, that your confidence would be raised up. Who would feel that? Beautiful. Who would feel that you finally started to be empowered? Who's like that? Nice. Who would feel a little bit invincible? Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So here's why I asked you this question. And by the way, I probably need to ask you this question as well. You see, for us to be able to achieve the goal you wrote down, you need to have a desire. In other words, a passion. You need to have drive, which is purpose. And you need to build your determination. Does everybody get that for you to go from point A to point B, there will be a challenge? Does that make sense to everybody? It's a little bit like, has this ever happened to you, that you decided that, you know what, I'm going to get back into my exercise program? Anybody made that decision? And you say, I'm going to start it tomorrow. And you wake up and it is teeming rain. Has anybody had the situation you say, you know what, Keith, I'm going to really start to eat healthy? And that's the day you go to work and somebody brings in homemade cake. Is that day? Larry's having a birthday. So you need the determination. You need the determination to be able to achieve this. And so where does Goal Drivers comes into it? It is the ability for you to know exactly what you want to achieve, to be able to use your drive to achieve it, and then strengthen your determination to make it all come true. And so when we look at this, and I probably, I want to say this to you, is that what you and I, and Adam talked about this before, is when you and I are really clear on why, the how becomes easy. But you know what I found in doing this type of work and working with high performers? One of the things that I found is most people gravitate towards what and how, and they avoid why. But we know for a fact that when you know why, everything else moves forward. That's why these weekends are so important to you, to walk out that door and making sure that you know why you're building your business. You know why you want to move yourself in the right direction, because the research that has told us, so the last 15 years of research has told me this, is that if you have an emotional connection, a mental connection, and a physical connection to your goal, you will be compelled, committed, and connected to it. Why do you need to be compelled, committed, and connected to your goal? So you will do the uncomfortable, the inconvenient, and the unknown. The reason why we're not all Olympians is because it is difficult. It is uncomfortable. It is inconvenient. The reason why you've got the leaders that walk across the stage like Brian and Linda and Adam and Kira is they've gone and done the uncomfortable, the inconvenient, and the unknown. And so when we do that, what does that look like? Why, what, how, feel, think, do, heart, head, hands. We start to move ourselves forward. So I have to ask you a very honest question now. Are you okay with having an unfair competitive advantage over yourself? 8 people. I'm killing it today, Adam. I'm absolutely... Let me try that again. Are you okay with having an unfair competitive advantage over yourself? Oh, mate. The best group I've worked with today. Truly amazing. Because guess what? You know the reason why most people don't achieve their goals? It's not the government. It's not COVID. It's not circumstances, situations. It's not their brother-in-law. The reason why is this. I love this quote from Edmund Hillary. He said, it's not the mountain we conquer but ourselves. How true is that? Yeah, take a photo of that, because that's one of those quotes I have in my office that reminds me that when I start to get a little bit of plum disease, poor little old me, I go, you know what? It's not me. It's not out there. It's me. And so here's why we get you to do the Goal Drive. And I really appreciate the opportunity of your leaders that supported the process yesterday, and Celine and her team for doing this process. And is because when we help people understand their drive and their desire, in other words, when we understand what will move you towards the uncomfortable, the inconvenient, and the unknown, and you step into how you want to feel, then all of a sudden you will accomplish and accelerate your achievement. So most people now have gone and completed their Goal Driver, and thank you for doing that. I know the internet wasn't great in here, but people got creative and tapped into other businesses' internet. We're not going to talk about that, but I know that happened. So the Goal Driver. Here's where the Goal Driver comes from. One of the things that we know, and I've spent the last 9 years putting all this research together. I've spent the last 4 years working with a psychometric specialist and a statistical analysis guru, 2 fabulous ladies who have helped me take all of this knowledge and put it into what you experienced over lunch. 10 simple questions that give us what now we know. If you get the full profile, there are 58 roadblocks that are slowing you down. What we also know when you get the full profile is that there's 36 performance accelerators. But more importantly, there's 135 different strategies that you can do to move yourself in the forward direction. Your leaders have gone through the full profile. You're most welcome to, click on the green button on your computer screen there or on your phone screen and upgrade. I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But let me talk about, and if you haven't done it, QR code it. And if you're not sure with QR codes, I'm not sure where you've been living over the last couple of years. Here's what I can tell you. At this point of time, we launched it in February, and we have had 3,600 people. Well, we're probably over 4,000 now with the amount of people in the room complete it. And here's the feedback we've had from people. People said, in actual fact, the statistics tell us, as of this morning, I check this often, is that the accuracy is 89.3, let's not forget the 0.3%. So when people read it, they go, sounds like you've been following me around, you stalker. This sounds like, it's like you've been in my head. And so let's just position this and work you through it. There are 8 goal drivers. If you're wondering how many, there are 8. Some of you, and I've already chatted with a few people, and if we look at these 8 goal drivers as part of this process, there are successful influencers. These are the people, by the way, and I'll go through this in a little bit more detail. These people make things happen. They definitely make things happen. The purposeful explorer has a vision for the future. They think about the big picture. The inspired pathfinder motivates people around them. The happy torchbearer, carer. They bring people together. They never want to see somebody sitting by themselves or being left out. They're great carers. The relaxed peacemaker is all about flow. Keith, I want this to be effortless. I'm happy to work, but I want this, I'm always find the way to make it easier. The confident believer is that person who wants to back themselves and step into their potential. The respected achiever is about mastery. They want to be good at what they do. But their real talent is they take wisdom and they take the wisdom they've got and they share it with other people. They take the knowledge and turn it into wisdom and share that with people. And then, of course, the organised planner, guess what? We need these people. We need these people to line things up, to make things organised around us. Now, give me a hands up, and I'm going to see if I can see everybody. Who are the, actual fact, we'll do it this way. Who are the successful influencers in the room? There you are. Fantastic. Nice. See how they all bunched together over there. The successful influencer. Let me give you a couple of insights. Now, your profile, your snapshot you've got, has got 12 insights on it. It's enough for us to do our session today, but let me give you a few key points here. Guess what? Successful influencers, it's all about momentum. They're driven by momentum. What does that mean? They want to be making progress. They're the person that's standing in the line, tapping their feet, going, when is this moving faster? Could I go to another line? What could I... I know that wouldn't happen to people in this room. They're great to see. Their great attribute? They make decisions. You know what they do? They make decisions. And you know what they do after that? They make it right. They make it right. And if it's not right, they make another decision. They make decisions. When they're stressed, when they're uptight and out of sight, they get annoyed. And they get blunt. They get rude. And then what really ticks them off is they've actually got to go and apologise to people later. Their greatest fear? Their greatest fear is failure or loss of status. They don't want to go backwards. And sometimes what happens is you have a few little ups and downs in this business, but that's okay. Just do what you did that got you there. Here's the next one. You're a purposeful explorer. You're a visionary. You want to have a vision. Doesn't matter what's happened in the past, you've got a vision for the future. And the purposeful explorer, and by the way, I should just explain this. The 2 words that make up your goal driver, like purposeful explorer. The first is the emotion you want to feel. The second is the persona. And so the purposeful explorer wants to explore the possibilities. What could I achieve if I really put my mind to it? And so when we talk about this, The purposeful explorer is someone who's driven by legacy. They want to make a difference. They want to leave their mark. They're building this business to provide a great lifestyle for their family and for their family's family. Their greatest attributes is they want to impact people. If they want to have a conversation with you, they want it to be impactful. They can be a little intense sometimes. People are laughing in the background because you know what I mean. You know one of them. Here's the next one. When stressed, they become indecisive. Oh, should I be really doing this? Is conquering the world a goal that's a bit too far for me? And so they become a little bit indecisive. And their greatest fear is regret and FOMO. They hate missing out on an opportunity. Is that a better party over there? I'm going over there. Oh no, there's a better one over there. Wow. The inspired pathfinder. So your emotion is that you want to be inspired. Does this make sense to people so far? Yeah, good. That's the correct answer, by the way. What are they driven by? Optimism. These people are positive. These people are, the glass is never half empty, it is half full. These are the people that when everything goes pear-shaped, they go, there's an opportunity here. And you look at them going, seriously? Yes, there is. We just have to look beyond. So they're optimism. They're wonderful. They're passionate. They've got great energy. How do you know when you're hanging around people that are negative? Simple. You feel a lot better after you left them. True? Have you got family members like that? When are they going home? Let's go to your brother-in-law's place this Christmas, for Christmas dinner. Why? So we can leave when we're ready. Have you ever tried leaving your own home with guests? Where's Mary and Larry? They went out for a bag of ice. That was 4 hours ago. Have you ever had a party like that at home or a dinner party with family like that and you go, geez, how do we get out of here? What's the next one? Next one is what happens when they're stressed. You know what happens to this person? They stop caring. They chuck a little bit of a hissy and they go, I don't care anymore. In actual fact, what they say is, I don't give a flying fruitcake anymore. Cleaned that up, didn't I? What's their greatest fear? They don't want to be contained, confined, or controlled. I don't want to have to operate and colour in the lines. I don't want to do that. I want to be a little bit more creative as part of it. Let me see the happy torchbearers in the room. Where are you? Wonderful. 2 people. The person's got double both. She's putting both hands up. Fantastic. Happy torchbearer. This is my wife. My wife is a happy torchbearer. He balances me out. I'm a successful influencer in 4 parts of my life. And in 1 part of my life, I'm a respected achiever. We'll talk about that in a moment. So what's the greatest drive of this person? This person is driven by joy. They want to give joy. They want to be joyful. They want to make sure, are you okay? You don't look happy. They want to be that person that says, come here, let me give you a hug. I don't want to be hugged, but come on anyway. You'll be more joyful. But I don't like people. It's okay. You'll like us after a while. The greatest attribute is they are they're caring and they're fun. They're fun to be with. They're the life of the party. They're cracking jokes. They're slapping people on the back. They're saying you can do it. And they're a lighthouse. They're a beacon. People are attracted to them because they nurture people along the way. What happens when they're stressed? They try too hard. Well, we are getting a little close over here, aren't we? People go, oh, geez, that's me. Stop it now. We try too hard. No, please like me. No, seriously, I'm nice. Please, like me. I've never done anything wrong to you. Like me, please. I'll hug you. What's their greatest fear? Not being liked. I don't want to not be liked. What if I approach somebody and they say no? They're going to hate me. No, they're not. They're just going to say no. and you're going to forget about them and you're going to move on. You know, you're wanting your dry cleaner to like you. It's okay. Find another dry cleaner. Get wound up on stuff, don't we, really? The organised planner. Can I see the organised planners? Oh, you notice when the organised planners put up their hand, it's like this. Is that straight? Is it straight? Control. You could call these people control freaks in the extreme. But what they do like is they like to have control over circumstances and situations around them. Their mantra is control the controllables. In the extreme, they try and control things that are out of their control, and that gets them frustrated because they cannot stop the whatever's happening in the world to stop it. Their greatest attribute, they're consistent. Give me a hands up. This is for everybody. How many people in this room here are consistently inconsistent? Yeah. Not the, so you know, they're down the, no, I'm not putting my hand up for that. The organised planner, no, I'm not doing that. I'm organised, mate. I'm consistent. Line me up with a post. I am consistent. When stressed, they overplan. We're not going any further until I redo the plan. We've just done the plan. I know, but we need to do it again. They overplan. They overthink it. But, okay, so when I approach Mary, she's going to say this, and then I'm going to say that, and then she'll say this, and then I'll say that. But what if she says that? Oh, I haven't thought about that. I better, let's go back. Brian, can I have a mentoring session with you? I'm not sure what to say when people say this. Overstressed, overplanned. What's their greatest fear? Chaos. Being unorganised. I'm unorganised. I've got my Red Sox out of place, and it's just not right. So they get, that's an extreme. But they get, they hate being unorganised. If you're a respected achiever, you're like me when I present. I like to be respected. I like to, be masterful. And we won't take too much out of these people. But here's what I can say to you. You are driven by mastery. You want to be good at things. You want knowledge. One of the challenges for us, respected achievers, by the way, is we seek too much knowledge. But we don't do anything with it. I just need to learn a little bit more before I get started. I had a conversation with a mentor this morning of one of my mentors, and he said, "Have you launched that program yet?" And I said, "No, Rob, no, I haven't." Right. How much more information do you need, buddy? And I'm going, how do I get out of this conversation? You know how you get out of a conversation like that? You hang up while you're still talking. Think about it for a moment. There you go. That's what you do. What's your greatest attribute? You're insightful. You are. You have great wisdom. You come up with those pearls of gems. When you're stressed, guess what happens to you? Comparison. Write this down. Comparison is the thief of joy. Oh, wow. Why are those people walking across stage and all? They joined the business around the same time I did. Why are they up there? I just work as hard as them. I know all the nutritional facts about our product. I know that. And so we get into comparison. Does that resonate with anybody? Is that just me? Yeah. What's your greatest fear? Loss of reputation. Oh, if I do this, people won't like me and my reputation in this fine, upstanding community. It's your brother-in-law you're approaching. Don't worry about it. He's an Elmer. Loss of reputation. If you're a confident believer, I know there's a few, in actual fact, you've got a double B there because you're so positive. Be positive. A confident believer, one of the things I'd say to you is this. Oh, where are the confident believers, by the way? I've got a friend of mine, Margot, said, oh, she's a confident believer. If you, oh, look at them all over there. They just congregate together. It's fantastic. We love it. Isn't it good? You know, guess what we love about confident believers? They're dependable. If they say they're going to do something, they do it. Don't want to let anybody down. They are dependable. Put your money in the bank on these people. They are dependable. What's their greatest attributes? Authentic. They are their true, authentic self. What you see is what you get. What happens when they become stressed? They become a little bit insecure. Am I good enough? Am I enough? Am I worthy? Am I deserving? Am I capable? They become a little insecure. I know Kira can do this. Can I do this? And they become a little insecure. What's your greatest fear? Being excluded. You don't want to be excluded from, you don't want to be on the outer, you don't want to be on outside the tent. You want to be inside the tent. And so you don't want to be excluded. And that stops you from going and approaching people, because people you think are just going to exclude you. They're going to avoid you. And if that's it, by the way, that's okay, because they're probably going to exclude you for some other crazy thing. If you're the relaxed peacemaker, where are the peacemakers in the room? Wow, look at them. We love them. We love the peacemakers, and here's the reason. The peacemakers keep us calm. They calm the farm. Their greatest mantra is no flow, no go. I've got a good mate of mine. That's what he says all the time. He goes, Keith, I'm not feeling the flow. I'm not going. Right, Malcolm. Wow. He's a little bit of a hippie as well, but that's another story. So here's what we know about that. You are driven by flow. As we said before, your greatest attribute, amicable. Wow. If there's conflict, put the person in there. They will hear each side of the story. They'll bring people together. They'll wrap their arms around them, and they'll make them see each other's point of view. They're great negotiators with people. What happens when they get stressed? They withdraw. They go, no. Geez, why is Larry so quiet? And so they withdraw. What's their greatest fear? Conflict. They don't like to get in conflict. But you know what their greatest fear is? Being in conflict with themselves. Should I do this? I don't know if I should. Is it right for me? I'm not sure. And so they get into a little bit of conflict. Turn to the person you're sitting alongside, because I've talked to you for a little bit now. And if you haven't already shared with them the goal driver, what's the key message for you out of your 12 insights from your goal driver snapshot? Will you do that? Just 15 seconds each. Ready, steady, go. Chris, can I have a little bit of music, please? A little bit different than last time. What's the message? Taught me everything, Pete. Taught me everything, man. Thanks, Chris. What's that message for you? All righty. All right. Rightio, thank your partner in the most appropriate way. A high five, handshake, hug, if you're a happy torchbearer. Everybody good? Is this a good tool? Okay, let me start that again. Is this a good resource for you? Fantastic. I should have said only if you mean it, you should say that, but I'll take anything for that matter. Here's now how we apply it. By the way, here's the cool thing about it. Your snapshot, free. If you'd like to share that with some of your team members that aren't here, if you'd like to share that with some family, if you'd like to share that with some colleagues, You're most welcome to do that. That's our gift to you today. You're most welcome. Here's the reason why. The more you understand yourself, the more awareness you have about yourself. The more awareness you have about yourself, the more you can change, evolve, and do things differently. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? So now let's apply it to your business. Here's what we know. So you know your goal driver profile. If you're writing things down, if you're doing that, if you're following along online, thanks for doing that. Here's what I'd love you to do. Write your goal driver profile. So if you're a successful influencer, write that down. So write down your goal driver profile. So you know what it is. Here's the second thing I want you to do. Second thing now, and remember, just a reflection on the goal driver profiles again, you know, we talk about successful influencer, we're talking about purposeful explorer. Now, we want you to be connected to the emotion. Here's what we know. If you are emotionally connected to your goal, you'll be more committed, compelled, and connected, as I said before. So when you know what emotion you want to achieve. So let's say in the next 12 months, which one of these emotions do you want to achieve? Now, what's come up on your profile is the emotion. Now that you know what your emotion is and you have bought into, this is me, Keith. Just give me a hands up who feels like this report, this snapshot was exceptionally accurate for them. Beautiful, excellent. The people who didn't, we don't worry about them. See me after school today. So now that you know what your torchbearer is, here's what I want you to write down. Your part 2 of this process, we're going to go through 6 parts, okay? So part 2 of your process is I want you to write down the number 1 goal you want to achieve in your Juice Plus business in the next 12 months. And here's the reason why I want you to write it down. All of your leaders, I've taken them through the advanced version of this. All of your leaders understand the power of mentoring. I want to talk about that in a moment. But guess what you've got to go to them with? You've got to go to them with a why and with a goal and with your goal driver profile. If you don't go there, then they start from base camp and they've got a limited amount of time. Does this make sense so far? So this is about now going, what's that number 1 goal? Now I said 12 months, but maybe it's 6 months. Maybe there's a qualification period or a challenge. And I know Adam's going to talk about a little challenge for each of you tomorrow. So what's your goal driver profile? We know that. What's the goal you want to achieve? What's the goal you want to achieve in the next 12 months? Now, here's what I do know, and I know this is a little personal, but here's what I do know. When you talk about it, you become more committed to it. So will you be very quick, 10 seconds each, share with the person you're sitting alongside, what's that goal you want to achieve and when do you want to achieve it by? You must have a date written down. When we say a date, you need to pick a year, a month, a date, and even a day of the week. But we'll do, because we have to be specific. And so I want you to turn now and say, what do I want to achieve in the next 12 months, or what do I want to achieve in the time frame we wrote down? 15 seconds each. Ready, steady, go. A little bit of music. Thanks, Chris. And a little bit louder. What's that goal? What's that goal? The more you talk about it, the more you get committed to it. Fifteen seconds. 15 seconds to go. All right. Everyone good? You know what the goal is? All right, thanks, Chris. Okay, so now you've got your goal, now you've got your date, you've got your goal drive, you've done your profile. Step number 3. Make sure you know exactly what your number 1 goal is you want to achieve in your Juice Plus business. Make sure you're really clear on what that goal is today. If you're not sure, if you're new here, go to your leader. Go to your leader and say, you know what, I'm not sure. Well, you tell me what I should do. And they'll share that with you. And one of the things I'd say to you as part of this process, I want to get closer to the stage. one of the things that you've got to be really clear on is just knowing where you need to start. Here's the next. So by the way, it could be something around number of people in your team. So I want you to add to it a little bit now. So whatever goal you just wrote down, how many people do you want in your team in that time frame to be part of your team? What's the income? I want you to write that number down. Do you understand? I'm just making it a little bit more specific now. I want it to be, because guess what? We need to be in this corridor of clarity, not the chasm of confusion. How many customers have you got? So look, you know your business better than I do, but you know, if you're a sales coordinator, you want to go and talk to, you know, if your next level is sales coordinator, you want to go and chat and go, okay, leader, how many customers? Oh, maybe need 20 or 30. You know, how many people should I have at my team? Maybe 3 or 4. So go and talk to them about what those numbers are right. And what level are you? What are you walking across this stage at in 12 months' time? What? Hello? You having fun yet? Here's step number 3. Step number 3 is you've got to write down 5 reasons why. Why do you want that goal? Oh, because you told me to write it down, Keith. No. Why do you want that goal? And you've got to write down 5 reasons why. Why? Really simple. Unless you've got a big enough reason why, any excuse will do. Too hot, too cold, too many, too few, too little, too much, too hard, Keith. Somebody said no, Keith. See, unless you've got a big enough reason why, you will not do the uncomfortable, the inconvenient, and the unknown. You have to have a big enough reason why. When the why becomes clear, the how becomes easy. What's the reason why? Oh, Keith, you know what? $1,000 would make my life so much easier. You know what, Keith? $10,000 a month, I could actually tell my boss that he just got sacked. So I want you to understand what the reason why is, because unless you know the reason why, any excuse will do. Step number 4 is really simple. Step number 4 is we start to be honest. We be very, very honest with ourselves. Now, in your goal driver profile, guess what I've told you? What you need to stop doing and what you need to start doing. Is that cool? Now, that'll be on a higher plane, but what I want you to really start to think a little bit about is, in this business, what do you need to stop doing? Give me a hands up. How many people, honestly, how many people are procrastinating? Okay, I hope I don't catch it. Let me just take a couple of steps back. Can I get a mask for procrastination? What I want to say to you about procrastination is the greatest robber of self-esteem. If you know in your heart of hearts you should do something like this business, and you don't do it, it eats away at you. How do you beat procrastination forever? Here's what I want you to think a little bit about. You forget about finishing, and you focus all of your energy on starting. You focus all your energy on taking that first step. Because once you've taken the first step, I think you're going to be more inclined to take the next and the next and the next. You know what happens for a lot of us is we are looking for perfection. And what I want you to fall in love with is imperfection. What I want you to fall in love with is a good plan started today, actioned today, is better than a perfect plan started tomorrow. Your goal has never been and will never be about getting it right. Your goal will be about getting it going. Then you can get it right. So what's one thing you need to stop doing, and what's one thing you need to start doing moving forward? What's that one thing? See, the reason why I want you to write this down is when you go to your leader, you can have a meaningful conversation. This is what I've identified in my profile I need to start doing and stop doing. This is what I've recognised in the session from Keith, what I need to start doing and stop doing. Great. Does this make sense? Yep. 4 people. I'm killing it. I truly am masterful at engaging people in a meaningful, loving way. You need to know what you need to change. Do you absolutely get that the reason why you have not got your goal now is because you have not changed enough yet? Do you get that? all of your leaders, and I know lots of your leaders personally, as you know, Adam, he told a story about him and I knowing each other for years. Brian and Fiona lived across the road from me on the Gold Coast. And here's what I know. They've gone and developed themselves. They've become a better version of themselves. And so they've looked at this and said, what do I need to start doing? What do I need to stop doing? Here's the next one. You've got to work out what the next steps are. So here's what I want you to write down. If you're procrastinating, what's the next step? Oh, Keith, I need to book a mentoring session with my upline leader. That's a good step. Oh, you know what, Keith? I need to create my prospect list. Who I'm going to approach Sunday. Who I'm going to approach Saturday. Who I'm going to send a text message today and line up a meeting for them next week. Prospect list. Mentoring session. I don't know your business that well. You know it better than I do. Maybe you need to, if you're new, maybe you need to get some product knowledge. Maybe you need to work out how you're going to approach people. But I want you to think about those 3 next steps, because everything today is about momentum. The final part of this puzzle is you have to have the right mindset. I call these momentum mindsets. They're in your handout. You'll notice that in your Goal Driver snapshot, it actually tells you what the mindset is for your profile. And so when we look at these mindsets, there are 8 key mindsets for you to embrace. And by the way, you can have more than one. But for the next 30 days, I want you to focus on one. What do they look like? Well, listen, for the inspired influencer, you've got to be grateful. You've got to be grateful for the challenge. Because if you're not grateful for the challenge, you become bitter, not better. See, everything's great. It's easy to be grateful and everything's great. For the explorer in you, the purposeful explorer, limitless. You've got to see limitless opportunities and you've got to have limitless energy to take advantage of them. For the pathfinder, courageous. Let me ask you this question, ladies and gentlemen. What would happen in your Juice Plus business if you were courageous? With every cell in your body, from the soles of your feet to the top of your head and every cell in between, that you were courageous. How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you think? What would you say to yourself? What would you say to others if you were courageous? Who would you approach? How much would you change? If you're the happy torchbearer, self-love. You've got to become your best friend, not your worst enemy. Tenacious. For the plan to organise. You've got to hang in there, hang in there, hang in there, hang in there. And you know what? You've got to be okay with it not being perfect. If you're the respected achiever, empowered. It is time for you to step into your potential. Stop waiting for people to give you permission to be great. You have officially been given it by me. If you want more confidence, then embrace invincibility. Embrace invincibility. And if you're the respected peacemaker, you're secure. You'll be safe. It's okay. Grab hold of those and move yourself forward. Grab hold of those and take yourself to the next level. If you want to dig a little bit deeper into your Goal Driver profile, on the bottom of page 3 in your snapshot, there's a little green button. If you click on that, it's $87 and you get 46 pages, 135 different insights. You get exactly the same document as all the leaders got yesterday. It'll give you far greater insights into what makes you tick, what slows you down, and what speeds you up. So if you'd like that, please invest in yourself to do that. You paid a lot of money to come to this event. Why not invest in yourself just a touch more to, you know how I put it? Is it worth $87 to achieve your goal one day sooner, 1 month sooner, 1 year sooner? And so just starting to think a little bit about what that might be for you. Let me talk about momentum before I finish up, but here's what I'd love you to do is turn to the person you're sitting alongside and tell them what's been What mindset are you going to focus on for the next 30 days with every cell in your body? Moment by moment, minute by minute, hour by hour, and day by day for the next 30 days. Can you tell them the mindset? You've got 10 seconds each. Ready, steady, go. Chris, a little bit of music. Thank you, mate. You have picked the best songs for me. Chris, thank you. Alrighty. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody. Give me a hands up if you've ever had a little bit of doubt. Yeah, we all have. So here's what I know. Doubt sees the darkest night. Certainty sees the light of day. Doubt asked who believed, and certainty answered I believe. You have to believe in yourself. The best way to believe in yourself is to build momentum, is to do something, is to take that first step, to move yourself closer to what you want and move away from what you don't want. That's the best way to create momentum. How do you do that? This is the momentum cycle. We look at it, it's really simple. Everything we've talked about today, you set a goal. From your goal, you take action. Critical part, you have to take action. Good intentions, good ideas are worth zip, zero, nana if you don't. From that action, you'll get a result. And guess what? Some of the results are learning experiences, not earning experiences. And from those results, guess what happens? Your belief goes up. Your belief goes up. And you know what we do? We shift our thinking. We move from an internal dialogue of, am I? You know what I mean by that? Am I good enough? Am I worthy? Am I deserving? Am I capable? Am I smart enough? Am I a good enough leader? Am I skilled enough to build this business? To moving to, rather than this questioning mindset all the time, that's where doubt comes into it, by the way. You constantly question yourself. When you continually question yourself about, am I good enough? Am I worthy? Am I deserving? Am I capable? When you do that, it diminishes your confidence. But when you take the I and put it in front of the am, I am worthy, I am deserving, I am capable, I am good enough, I am a good leader. When you do that, you affirm, not question, and your belief builds. There are 6 other strategies on building your belief. If you want to build your belief, start to embrace these. Evidence of proof. Evidence of progress. Your mindset needs to see that you are moving towards what you want and moving away from what you don't want. We have to, as individuals, see evidence. Your leaders need to see you taking action. They don't need to see you getting it right. They need to see that you're serious enough to take action. Prioritize and execute. Prioritize the goals. What do I need to do this week? What do I need to do today? And execute. And guess what? Execute on that plan. And if it doesn't work, reprioritize and execute on that plan. Read, listen, watch, learn. Listen to great podcasts. Read great books. Watch things that lift you up, that inspire you. Be the student. What else can you do? A couple other key things that you can do here. You can take the opportunity to always ask yourself, what's important now? What's important now for me to do? And what does what's important now stand? Win. W-I-N. What's important now? The second piece of the puzzle is feed your focus. Write this down. Starve your distractions and feed your focus. You know what's happened over the last 2.5 years? We have fed our distractions. and we have starved our focus. We have to flip the switch on that. If you want to build momentum, if you want to achieve the business of your dreams, if you want this vehicle of Juice Plus to provide you with the lifestyle you want, deserve, and desire, then you have to feed your focus. You have to block out the stuff that just won't count in a month's time, in 6 months' time, in 6 years' time. And the final piece of the puzzle here, and I mentioned this to the leaders yesterday, is mentoring accelerates achievement. I've been so fortunate and blessed that I have had great mentors right throughout my career as a professional speaker and in my business. And I've had mentors that have pushed me, never broken me, but pushed me. You know, the beautiful part of what I spent yesterday doing with your leaders is showing them ways on how to mentor and coach exactly to your specific goal driver. And so they are well and truly equipped and skilled to have deeper, more meaningful conversations with you. But I want you to absolutely understand this, is mentoring accelerates achievement. You can read as much as you want, and I think you should read. I think you should listen to audio books. I think you should do all of that. But if you're serious about building a business, you need a mentor. Because you've got to have someone that you can bounce ideas with, and you've got to have someone that you can hold you accountable. And let me share with you the power of mentoring. So through the research that we've done, we've been able to work out that the probability of you achieving the goal you just wrote down can be significantly enhanced, and the scales can be tipped in your favor to give you an unfair competitive advantage if you do these things. If you have a goal and you've written it down, like we've done today, guess what? You've got 10% chance of achieving that goal. And that's all you've done. You got 10%. I mean, I wouldn't go to the races, in a 1 in 10 chance of winning, but you've got 10% chance. Here's the second thing. If you now take that written goal and you are now consciously focused on it, what do I mean by that? You read it every day. You read it every day. It's in your phone. You've taken a photo of it and you read it every day. You consciously, it goes up to 20%. Now, if we take that goal and we put a specific date on it, I will achieve it by this date, this day, this week, this month, this year, it goes up to 40%. Why? By the way, ladies and gentlemen, when's the most productive day of the year for you? The day before you go on holidays. True? Why? Because you got a deadline. I've got to be at the airport at this time. People come to you and say, oh, listen, can I grab a couple of minutes? No. Not being rude. You're just not on my list. I'll see you when I get back. 50% of your goal of achieving it, if you have it written down, if you are consciously focused on it, if you have got a deadline, and now you have a specific plan on how to move from where you are to where you want to be. 50%. It goes up to 60% if you commit to someone. Why did I get you to tell the person alongside you? So you started to commit to somebody? Well, I wish I'd known that before, Keith. Commit to someone. Now, what if I could actually tell you that you'd achieve this goal 95% of the time? Would that be interesting? You want to know the secret? One person. Come and see me later. I'll tell you the secret, buddy. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm done. No. Of course not. Well, I've already told you the answer. Here's what we know. This is what we know for a fact, is that it goes up to 95% if you have written it down, if you're constantly focused on it, if you have a deadline, you've got a plan, and more importantly, you've set an appointment with your accountability mentor. Who's your accountability mentor? Your leader. That's the beautiful part about your business. You have people who've got, you know what? Here's what I know about your leaders. I've now spent, this has been my sixth conference with Juice Plus. Always nice to be invited back, huh? 6th time I spent with Juice Plus. And here's what I know about your leaders here in Australia, which are very similar to the leaders in the US, is they want more for you than sometimes you want for you. Because they see the potential behind the fear or the intrepidation or the I don't know what to do next. And the power of this is when you have got an accountability with your leader. Does this make sense? Take the time to meet with your leader and talk to them about your goals. That was my goal today. My goal today was to set it up for them to have a meaningful conversation, not to sit down with you and go, oh, what do you think your goal should be? No. You should already have that. You should already have that. Let me wrap things up. Has this been a great session? Yeah. That's the correct answer, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you my final message and then I am out of here. A good friend of mine had an opportunity to meet Sir Edmund Hillary before he passed away. Now, I don't know if you know the full story about Sir Edmund Hillary, but he was never expected to climb Everest. He was the backup team. The first team was supposed to climb Everest and he was there to support. Anyway, the first team failed and they came to him and they said, listen, Sir Edmund, we'd like you, and it wasn't Sir Edmund, there was just Edmund. Ed, we'd like you to climb Everest tomorrow. And my mate said to him, well, what were you thinking when they told you that? He said, to my mate's surprise, he said, when I looked up at Everest, he said, I thought it was too high. It looked too hard. And it was bloody cold. And my mate said, what'd you do? And he said, simple, I just put one foot after the other. If you want to achieve anything you've just written down, take the first step. Take the first step. And all your dreams can come true. Because if it's not you that's going to do it now, when will you ever do it? And if now's not a good enough time, how many more people like me do you have to listen to before you say, enough's enough? And that's enough from me. Thanks very much. Super. Thanks, everybody. Great being with you again. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Cheers. Thank you.